In this class, we're going to discuss building the perfect team. Yes, building a perfect team is so important. I just cannot express this enough. Reason being is because it's one of the biggest issues that entrepreneurs face. You have to have a team. You cannot run a successful, scalable, profitable business by being a one-man show. You eventually have to bring someone else aboard in order to take off some of these tasks that you are handling on a day-to-day basis or even a weekly basis or a monthly basis. You just need someone else to be able to do something else for you so that you can focus more on the growth of your business. So currently, as a salon owner or even as a salon suite stylist or a barber or nail tech, as a beauty professional, you are these following items. You are the customer service person. You answer the phones and schedule the appointments. You greet the clients. You manage the receipts. You provide these services. You sell retail. You confirm all the appointments. You provide the refreshments. You manage the expenses and the payroll. You take all the photos. You take all the videos. You restock the retail shelves and do all the inventory, along with educating your clients and educating yourselves. One more thing, you also maintain the cleanliness of the salon. So you're probably the salon cleaning person as well. However, as a salon owner, you need to focus on creating marketing, branding your business, scaling a company, seeking out other opportunities, being able to manage your team, train the team, hire the team, and create the growth plan. This is the focus for you as a salon owner. So as the new salon owner, you are going to create all the marketing ideas. You're going to build your brand. You are the one to scale the company and take this business to the next level by seeking out other opportunities. You are the person that's going to be able to manage the team or hire someone else to manage the team, and you communicate with that salon manager or that person that you hire. You train the team, you hire the team, and you create the growth plan. Where we're trying to go to next? Do we want to expand to a bigger salon? If you are focusing on too many things, then you can't focus on the growth. And this is what making money is, making your business easier. Making your business easier makes you money. I want to say that one more time. Making the business run smoother, easier, makes you money. So here are some of the people that you need on your team. You need a hairstylist, a barber, nail tech, some other service provider inside of your business because they are going to be able to handle the customer experience. They will be providing the service. They will also be selling the retail. That's, they're educating the clients on. And then, of course, they're going to educate themselves as well to stay abreast on the new trends, new techniques, and things that they just love to specialize in. This is why this category has the bigger heading, because you also need a receptionist, someone who is going to answer those phones so that you can focus on growth, so that the stylist can focus on providing a great customer experience. Someone that's going to schedule these appointments of people walking in or calling in and confirm all the appointments, complete the sales. So if they are completing the sales, then the stylist can then go ahead on and service the next customer because the stylist already sold them the retail. Allow the receptionist to complete the sale along with restocking the retail shelf and taking inventory. Now, I know you're probably like, okay, I am a salon suite stylist. I don't need a receptionist. Cool. But you could use an assistant. And the assistant is the one who greets the clients, who's shampooing the clients, who's providing those refreshments, who's taking those before and after photos that you keep forgetting to take, and recording a little bit of video as you're working on your client so that you can use that for your marketing purpose. They're also maintaining the cleanliness of your salon, which, by the way, you should have a cleaning person to come into your salon probably about once a month or every 2 weeks to do a nice, good, deep cleaning. And in between, you can maintain that cleanliness of the salon yourself. Now, the last person you need on your team, of course, is an accountant and a tax expert. You need someone to be able to manage these receipts because let's be honest, every time you go and make a purchase with your debit card through your business account, they hand you a receipt. Whether you are going to Cosmoprof, going to purchase things out of Salon Centric, or just running down the street for the beauty supply store to pick up, shower caps, basic things. You're getting receipts and you need someone to be able to manage those. You also need someone to be able to manage your income to say, hey, listen, your expenses was a bit much this month. That income was pretty low. Our goal is to get to a certain amount in profit, and I feel we should cut back on these expenses. They're also there to help compute that payroll for you. Depending on how your business is structured, you're going to need someone to pay the payroll. First of all, you have to pay yourself. Remember, you are the brains of this business. You're creating the marketing. You're developing the brand. This is your company. You get paid by your company as well. So this is just a couple of people that you need on your team to make growing your business easier. So let's jump into really, really deep on how we are going to build this team. If you haven't already done so, close any other open windows you may have on your computer or your phone, however you're watching this. Go get that notebook, get a fresh, clean piece of paper, get you some pens, get you some pencils, grab you some highlighters, that you can highlight a couple main points as we go along. Just whatever you need to do, go grab the kids' crayons. It really doesn't matter, but let's get ready to build this team. Now, who am I? I know you're like, okay, I'm ready to build my team, but yeah, who are you? I am your salon coach, your hair product development consultant, and I help salon owners create a solid business structure and foundation so that you can build a team and clientele on. You can increase your retail revenue and also develop that hair product line. But more important, I need you to be able to hire a salon manager. If you want to open multiple locations, I'm there as well, along with you laying down the foundations of getting your own hair product line going so that you can become a profitable and scalable beauty business. So I am also a published author, as you can see, the Salon Forms book and the 6-step systems to creating a 6-figure salon are my best-selling books. The Salon Form book contains every form that you need to run your business effectively. So not just that, but I've been in blogs and published magazines with this article here, Beginner's Guide to Using Social Media to Boost Your Social Marketing Strategies. But not just that, I am the CEO of the Salon Business Blueprint Club, where our clients are creating the lifestyle that they want by increasing their income. As you can see, this client that I was working with, the salon owner in particular, when she came to me, her salon was just barely making that 10K month mark. Our goal was get to 20K per month with ease. And of course, getting to this journey had some ups and downs. But as your coach, when you have downs, I'm going to help you strategize and make those go up so that you know how to keep a consistent income flow. But here's a stylist too. I know you're like, okay, that's a salon owner, but what about me? I'm a stylist. How can you help me? Well, here's a stylist right here that come to me and was making way, way less than this 30 days ago. Within her first 30 days, she increased that income to $5,000 per month. Our ultimate goal was to get to 10K a month. So we're pretty much halfway there. Well, not pretty much. We are halfway there within 30 days. And she had no retail income. She made $500 in retail income within that first month. She also added on WooCommerce, so we were developing her online store as well. So not just selling hair products inside your store, inside of your suite or inside of your salon to your actual customers, but actually expanding and getting that e-commerce, that online income, that sleep money. That is something that I help you with as well. So let's dive into building your perfect team, right? We'll talk more about the details of the program later, But I want to give you how to build this perfect team. Because at the end of the day, if you are tired and you are stressed out because you're wearing so many hats, it's time that you put someone else on your team to take some of these hats from you. But not just anyone, the perfect people. And I'm going to share with you how you begin to do that. We're going to start with these 3 key functions. These are the key functions of building a team. You first have to set the structure. Once you set the structure, I'm going to give you a 3-step hiring strategy. Once you've implemented this 3-step hiring strategy, it is now up to you to retain the people that you bring aboard. So we're going to cover employee retention. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about structure. You have booth rental versus commission base. Now, I know you're saying, well, I'm a stylist. This doesn't apply. I work in a suite. This is not for me. However, it is. Because if you are working in a salon suite and there's 2 stations in that salon suite, you can sublease that suite out and create an additional income on the days that you are not there. If you're like, okay, I got that, but it's no room in here for a second chair. Cool. If you need an assistant, that assistant will be commission based. And we're going to dive deep into each piece of your structure so that you understand how to set these up before you start adding on team members. So let's talk about booth rental. Well, the 3 main parts of creating a booth rental business is your chair prices, contracts, and retail. I'm going to write that down. Chair prices, contracts, and retail are the 3 main parts of creating the booth rental retail structure. So chair prices. Where do we come up with these prices from? I sure hope you're not just taking your prices and basing it off the salons that are around town, the salons that are down the street. Your chair prices are based on your expenses to running your business. How much does this light bill cost? How much is the rent? Is the Wi-Fi included in your lease or not included in your lease? And how much is that? Is there a trash expense? How much does it cost for you to bring in the cleaning person once a month or twice a month to keep your salon clean? All of these expenses needs to be calculated in to your chair price. But not just that. What about the square footage? So as a booth renter, how much space do I get to operate? Yes, I know we say we get a chair, we get a station, and we get all of the trash can at the station, and we get this, space right here. But what are the exact measurements of this space right here? Along with that, do I have access to the color bar in the back? Can I have access to the shampoo area as well? Am I able to use the access in the laundry room where the washer and dryer is? And is there a break room that I can utilize when I am taking breaks as well? All of that is included in the square footage that you're going to rent out to a person. You have to let them know, look, this is where you can function at. But once we've calculated the expenses and the square footage, now we got to add in a little bit of profit. And this part is typically where most booth rental salons do not make enough money in order to be able to open a second location or to even live comfortably personally, because the profit margin is not there. Normally I see when the total is derived for the chair prices, we call around town and we say, oh, the salon downtown is 125. The salon over there is 125. This salon is 120. I called another salon and they were 130. Okay, great. I'm going to go at 125 as well. Well, once you start really looking at your expenses, really looking at square footage per diem, and you can Google what is the average square foot price of that business, and then including a little bit of profit in there. Now calculate that into your weekly or monthly chair price. Now, the beauty of it is you are probably not going to land at the price that everyone else is charging around town, because everyone else called everyone else and came up with a price. I'm going to be honest with you. When I created my chair prices, I used this exact same system. And I was the highest booth rental salon in town, probably about $10 higher than everyone else. But yet my salon stations were full because I knew what my expenses was. I knew what I was providing, and I put that profit margin in there as well. I did not have a problem at all with getting great stylists to want to work in my salon. And that number was based on all three of these pieces right here. So I want you to write down all your expenses and really, dive in. How much is this business really costing you? After we do your chair prices, get that set at this is what the price is. Next, we roll into contracts. Now, I know there are plenty of salons out there that do not have contracts. Every time I get on the phone with a salon owner who is frustrated with her renters, the first thing I ask is, do you have contracts? And lo and behold, the answer is no. No, I don't have contracts. Well, contracts set rules, contracts set expectations, and contracts are a guarantee of how much money you are going to make over the next 6 months or 1 year, the length of the contract. I want you to think about this. You are in a contractual agreement right now with that space that you are renting. You are in a contractual agreement with the apartment that you're renting, the house that you're renting, or the house that you have a mortgage through. You signed a contract, an obligation to pay a certain amount. If you do not pay a certain amount by a certain date of the month, there is a late fee that is attached to it. While you are occupying said space, you can do certain things inside of that space. If certain things break, you are responsible, or it lays out in your contract whether the landlord is responsible for different fixtures or things that needs to be maintained inside of this apartment. But at the same time, the landlord knows exactly how much each apartment in a building is going to yield them at the end of every year. The space that you're renting and every other space that's around you that building owner owns knows how much that entire plaza is going to yield them that income at the end of every year. When you do the same thing with your booth renters, at the end of every year, you know exactly how much you are going to collect. If that number is not the number that you want it to be, then that means we had a problem in the chair prices. We had a problem in the chair prices. So let's paint an even deeper picture. Let's pull out the calculator and let's work some numbers here on some basic chair prices so you can see how to create projectable income. Now let's take, for example, we come to the conclusion that your chair price is going to sit at, let's say $100 a week, for the sake of using whole numbers for this example. If your chair price is at $100 per week, that means you will make an average of $400 per month on that one space. And we're just going to go by one space. So on that one space will make you $400 per month. And at the end of the year, that one chair will yield you $4,800 on one chair, right? That's how much one chair is worth. Now, if you have, let's say you got 6 chairs in your salon, right? Let's say you have 6 chairs. If each chair is $4,800 and you have 6 of those chairs, the whole total for the year for your entire salon on all chairs, that means you will earn $28,800 because that's $4,800 $800 per chair times 6 chairs for a total of $28,800 for that salon space at the end of the year. Now you tell me, does this number make sense? Remember, we just pulled the number out of the air. We pulled a very low number out of the air and we worked some basic math. So to give you a breakdown of that basic math, we took your actual weekly chair price of $100. We multiplied it by 4, the number of weeks in a month, and we came up with your monthly total. From that monthly total, we multiplied it by 12, which is the number of months in the year, and we came out with the yearly total. We then took that yearly total and multiplied it by the number of stations in your salon. That gave us a new yearly total for your entire salon space. Now, you can plug in your actual real numbers and see how much your salon is going to yield at the end of the year. But to have a contract in place, that means you are guaranteeing that income for the next year. But not just the income, but here's the other part. We have rules. Contracts tells us, okay, you cannot leave the salon unkept. You cannot leave the door unlocked at the end of the day. You must take out the trash at the end of the day. You must keep your area clean, neat, and tidy. At the same time, the expectations is that the salon owner, you will provide the trash bags, the mop, the brooms, the cleaning supplies in order for them to be able to maintain what you want them to maintain in your rules. So contracts are very important when you're running a booth rental business. And the last part of this structure is your retail. Of course, we know retail is our second stream of income. I can't stress that enough. If you are not selling retail, I'm just going to do a little extra bonus right now. If you are not selling retail at all, the perfect way to get started is to take the one product that you are currently using on everyone that everyone loves and just go buy 12 of those and start creating a sales method and income for retail. That's the perfect way to start. Because if you're using, let's take, for example, a hair oil on all your clients, and you know they all need a hair oil to take home, you can go out and buy a case of the hair oil and start selling retail products right then and there. But here's the beauty of having the retail as a booth renter. So as a booth renter, this is extra income, which means you can offer a percentage to all of your renters for selling the entire retail stock that you have. So, of course, if they're using some of the products that your salon is using and they're not carrying retail because it may not be a place for them to display their own retail, they can earn a percentage off of selling the retail in the retail area that you have. This is extra income. At the same token, if they need to purchase things from you, you can also sell it to them at wholesale prices as well. So if you have your own product line, you have your own hair line, and your stylist in your salon is looking for hair to provide for their clients or a product that they need to service their clients, you can also wholesale it to them and make money that way as well. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, I purchased it at wholesale. How could I sell it at them at wholesale? Well, there's a little calculation that you can do to go a little bit above your wholesale price so that you make sort of a profit, but you're not charging your stylist the full retail amount. Now, that's creating a win-win. So having retail in your salon for your booth renters to be able to sell, to make money, to provide great services is definitely a win-win for both situations. So not only are they paying you the booth rent at the end of every week, but they're also earning some additional income by selling the retail that you are providing as well. So I hope this made complete sense and some light bulbs really went off when it comes to structuring your business as a booth rental salon. Now, I do get into a lot of the nitty gritty and the details on how to run your specific business inside of my mentorship program. But here, I just want to give you the goods. Like retail is definitely possible when you have a booth rental structure. It's all on how you want your retail to operate. And once again, once you've decided that you are going to have retail and this is how it's going to operate, you can create a small contract with all your booth renters and let them know this is how the retail is going to run. This is the percentage that they get. This is when it's paid out. Once again, everybody signs this contract and we are in an agreement with how retail is going to be structured inside of your booth rental salon. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to take a pause. Just take a pause, take a breather before we jump into commission scale. If you have to pause this, please go ahead and pause it. Do a quick rewind. Make sure you digest this information. Make sure that you understand everything clearly. And then we're going to move on to commission scale. Now, as commission scale, keyword, there's a range. Commission scale can be a fixed scale or a sliding scale. When it also comes to commission, there's payroll that is involved. Now, I know you're saying, well, they just going to give me the half and they're just going to leave it here. And that's cool. But there are many different ways to run commission scale. What I want you to do also is to look up in your area how you can operate as a commission scale, because sometimes them just giving you the percentage scale, which is the fixed scale, and calling it a day may not be legal in your state. So I just want to put that out there. Make a note off to the side, look up and see, according to state board, how can I operate as a commission-based salon without getting in trouble with the government? So put that on the side note on your pad so that you can circle back around with it once we are done with building your team. So fixed scale, right? This is a fixed scale. A fixed scale could look something like this. A fixed scale can be 45% for the stylist, 55% for the salon. A fixed scale can also be a split 50-50. The fixed scale can be a 60-40%, 40% for the salon, 60% for the stylist. And yes, I have seen it as high as 70% for the stylist and 30% for the salon. So every number you see on the right side is for the salon, and every number you see on the left side is for the stylist. I have seen multiple salons run multiple scenarios, all of these scenarios, and not just one scenario for everybody across the board, but also running multiple scenarios inside of the salon for different stylists at different points, at different levels. But this is what your fixed rate option is. So the benefit of this, because I like to give you the benefit and I'm going to give you the downside as well. So the benefit of having a scale like this is that we know as a stylist what we are going to make at the end of every week, what percentage we get. As the owner at the end of the week, we know what percentage that we're going to get off of whatever the stylists make. It's not going to change. If you do have two of these options running, let's say you may have a 50-50 split and a 60-40 split, depending on the knowledge of the stylist, whether they are new or seasoned. So let's say the new stylist fresh out of school gets the 50-50 split, and the stylist who does have a clientele and is still building gets the 60-40 split. So you have multiple stylists on different levels. And that could work. However, when it comes to being a commission-based salon, the responsibilities of the salon does not fall 100% on the stylist. The salon is also responsible for the stylist's growth and development and being able to continuously produce. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, why should I be responsible for this person? Because you're doing a commission based salon, which means you're taking a percentage of that. And that percentage that you're taking, you are using that for the salon's growth and the stylist's growth. So, yes, you're using it in the salon on marketing. You also may be providing products for the stylist to use as well as she services her clients, whether it be the shampoo, the conditioner, the things in the back bar, and basic styling products on the station in order to service the clients. That also means that you can supply one product line for back bar and for styling, but she can also go out and purchase, other professional items that she would like to use as well on her clients. And let's say because she's that 50-50 stylist split, new out of beauty school, she's going to need a little bit of training, a little bit of coaching in order to perfect her craft and time management. All of this falls on a salon's lap. And this is why sometimes having the fixed rate scale is just not beneficial. Because if you think of it, the 40% that you're gaining from a stylist at the end of a week is just not enough to cover the salon expenses and maybe bring in someone to teach about a product line, bring in an outside educator, or it's just not enough to keep up with the back bar products that's needed in order to, service the guests. But however, once you lay it out on how this fixed rate scale is going to work for you and the stylists that belong on this scale, it can work for your business. There are salons out there where there are stylists where they cannot charge booth rental at all. You must charge a commission rate. But you have a stylist who is seasoned and has a huge clientele that you would probably offer a 60-40 or even a 70-30 split, knowing that the basics that the salon provides is just this one product line, styling and back bar services, because she's built her company, built her business to where she does not lean on the salon for 100% support. And yes, she is still there taking part in educational classes and being a part of, continuing education, but does not require a whole lot from the salon in order to function. So absolutely a fixed rate scale can work, but you have to look at the salon's aspect of it first and see what it is that you have to cover and understand whether this percentage is enough or not enough. So let's jump into the sliding scale, right? Sliding scale is based off of income or skill level. Now, what do I mean by sliding scale? Sliding scale can be dollar amounts that the stylist will earn at the end of the week and gain a specific percentage for landing in that dollar amount. Here's an example. If there is any stylist, it does not matter the level of the stylist, the experience of the stylist when you're doing income-based sliding scale. It simply means that no matter the level, no matter the skill set, this stylist did from $0 to $900 in services this week. And doing $0 to $900 of services this week, she earned a specific percentage of, let's say, 45% or 46%, 45%, right? And it's strictly based off of income. But let's say next week, this exact same stylist had an amazing week. Oh my God, she was so amazing, so busy, there on time, quick with her services. Every hairstyle was fabulous. She added on services, and her income service at the end of this week landed about $2,000. And because she made $2,000 this week, she fell in a different income category and made a different percentage this week. So your scale looks like from $0 to $900, a percentage, from $901 to $1,200, another percentage, from $1,201 to $1,500, another percentage, from $1,501 to $2,000, another percentage. So depending on how much she make at the end of every week is the percentage that she earned. And that's just a vague example of how the sliding scale will work. You can create your own sliding scale and put the percentages in there that you would like. Because remember, back to the chair prices where we calculated those expenses at. Those expenses still move over to when you're creating your commission-based scale, because those expenses still need to be covered. The only difference is that we're adding on education. We're adding on marketing. We're adding on ways to continuously help our stylists, our team grow. Now, the last sliding scale can be based on skill set. So let's say you have someone who's a junior stylist or master stylist. They can be on skill set, or a fresh, a new stylist, someone who's new out of school, where you're like, I don't think she's quite a junior stylist yet, but we're going to have a new stylist. We're going to have a junior stylist, and we're going to have a master stylist, and we're going to have a lead stylist. You're going to have stylists in different categories. Well, you can have stylists in different categories earning different income, because you can also have the lead stylist who also educates all the other stylists, who earns a different percentage than, of course, the new stylist or the junior stylist, who is still building their clientele and building their skills. Then you have the master stylists who have been with you for probably some time, but who've also been into education as well. Maybe this person have been certified for different services. Maybe it's Olaplex certified, hair extension certified. They have a couple certifications under their belt where they are not a junior stylist, but yet they're not the lead stylist to educate anyone else. And they fall into another percentage brackets for the income that they earn. So these are two different ways to create a sliding scale for your commission-based business. Now, I want you to take a moment, take a quick pause, and I want you to think about which is best for you. Are you the fixed scale, or are you the sliding scale? Remember, there's no wrong answer. It's just what works best for you. And this structure has to be figured out first before we bring someone aboard. So take a pause and really work out a scale, work out an income scale, work out a skill level scale, and see if this structure best fits for your business. If not, let's revisit the fixed scale and see how you can incorporate maybe multiple scales inside of your business so that you can be able to make the income that you need to cover the expenses and the profit that you need to open multiple locations, or retire and still be able to make a profit. So take a pause right here. Let's work out your structure scale. You got all your notes. Look over your notes. Go back, review, decide, write down, analyze, and come to the conclusion on exactly how your salon business is going to be structured. Whether fixed versus sliding, or fixed or sliding. Now, while you have decided that we're going to jump into payroll, because this is the real reason that commission sometimes does not work for multiple salons, many salons, is because when it comes to paying someone, we don't quite understand how to pay people, or even understand, should we collect the money, and how does this work? And I totally understand. I get it. So when it comes to running a commission-based salon, all monies should be collected by the salon, which means you need to register up front. You should have one scheduling system that everyone is in so that you can see all the appointments that your team, your stylist, your makeup artist, barbers, whoever have serviced that day. And all monies is paid back from the salon to your team. So yes, you're collecting all the monies, and yes, you are paying all the monies back out, even if you are a fixed base scale. At the end of the day, you will collect all $5,000 from your entire business. And you would distribute, let's say you have to give at the end of the week, you have to give Mary 200 and you got to give Suzanne $1,000 and you got to give Keisha $2,000. And I know my numbers are off. However, you are going to collect it all and you're going to distribute it all as well. So you're collecting everything and you're paying out everything. Now, finally, how should I pay people? I know this is the hardest part. The hardest part. How should I pay people? Should I Cash App them? Absolutely not. Should I just Zelle them? No, you shouldn't do that either. Well, how should I pay them? And if I pay them, should I be paying taxes too? Like, I don't want to get into payroll and be dealing with people's money because it just seems so complicated and so confusing, and I'm not quite sure what to do. So I just tell them to give me my portion and I continue on. Well, there are so many payroll systems out there, which is why you have to have an accountant on your side, because the accountant also will handle your payroll. The accountant is going to handle the taxes when it comes to paying the taxes for and collecting the taxes from all of your team members. But all the money should be paid out from the salon to your team. There are several platforms out there that you can utilize in order to pay the team that it's not going to be a hindrance to your pocket, but it also is building your business expense and is also building your business credit as well. But you want to pay your team. You do not want them giving you money, because at the end of the year, when it comes to doing your taxes and getting all of your numbers in order, if you're not collecting, then you're distributing in the wrong manner. These platforms are going to allow you to input the money that you have collected from each stylist and put in your pay scale, and it's going to automatically calculate how much and when you are supposed to pay every stylist. Well, actually, you tell the system when you want to pay every stylist. So let's say you want to pay every stylist every week or bi-weekly or once a month. You will tell the system, we're going to pay our stylist every 2 weeks, and we're going to pay our stylist this percentage every 2 weeks. And every week you go in and you put in the total for each stylist. Of course, each platform is connected to your bank account. It will calculate the amounts for you. It will do a direct deposit from your account, a withdrawal from your business account, and a direct deposit into that stylist account. So basically, you're putting everything inside of your system, and your system is working it for you. Or you're sending all the information to your accountant, and your accountant is doing this for you. But at the end of the year, you'll be able to see truly how much money that your salon has made and where you need to adjust things at. It also calculates the taxes for you. And the beauty of having a system like this is because it is calculating the taxes for you. Shall you need to close your salon down for any reason, like if you need to remodel it and it's going to be closed for, let's say, a long period of time, having a commission base allows you to furlough your stylist, and they can actually collect on unemployment because they've put in money, because you have a whole payroll system where they're actually paying taxes and collecting taxes. But not just that, they're also getting a pay stub. Like, as professionals, we want a pay stub so that we can go out and be able to make purchases for big things we need and have proof of income. So if you're just telling your stylist to give you your percentage, you're not giving them the justice in order to receive that pay stub so that they can go out and build their lives personally in the way you are doing through your business. So I can't give you a specific one because there are many ones, and a lot of them would be catered to how your business operates. But however, just Google payroll systems, and there's a bunch of systems that come up. Start doing a basic research and see which system works best for you. So now that is our structure. We have how our structure operate. We set that foundation in, and you wanted to do that because now as you hire, you know how you operate. The biggest thing I see is someone say, "Or do you commission or are you booth rental?" And we just throw out a number, and that number is not set right, and that number is not perfectly. However, you are not going to just share your booth rental costs anymore or your commission rate before you dive into this hiring process. So yes, you're going to advertise, market, and put out there that you're looking for people and you have positions available, but we're not advertising that we're a commission-based salon doing 70-30%. We're not advertising that we're a booth rental salon with $100 per week, because you don't want any and everybody coming to apply or coming into your business. There's a strategy for your hiring to make sure that you choose the right individuals. You don't want the individuals to choose you. And that begins with a little bit of pre-work. So when it comes to the actual hiring part, you got to do a little bit of pre-work. So I want you to, on your sheet of paper, get a nice blank sheet of paper, and I want you to list the positions available and the requirements for each position. So let's say, for example, you're looking for a braider. And the requirement for this braider, because the new hottest trend is butterfly locks, that the braider must know how to do butterfly locks. That the new trend is stitch braids. So the braider must, know how to do stitch braids. Because you as a salon owner have noticed that every person who is calling your salon, who is trying to book an appointment, is looking for butterfly locks and stitch braids. And a braider can do this. So the position you have available is for a braider, and the position requirements is stitch braids and butterfly locks. Another thing too, is a position could be your assistant. You're looking for a salon assistant. This salon assistant is also, their requirements is being able to shampoo effectively, maybe have 1 year out of school or in school. Someone that you can put under your belt and just shampoo for you. A shampoo assistant, a salon assistant must know how to completely shampoo a guest's hair, or can be easily trained, must have a basic understanding of hair care knowledge. So this is the position requirements. Must understand how to utilize Instagram or take photos or videos so that you can get the videos and photos that you need as you're working. Must have some basic social media understanding. So write down the position and write down the position requirements. The same as you would write down the cleaning person. The cleaning person is a position. What are the requirements? Must be able to work evenings because your salon is open during the day. Must be able to work evenings. Must be able to have the knowledge of scrubbing hardwood floors. Maybe you got wood floors. You never know. But this is what you want that person to be able to do. If you do not write these things down as you're interviewing and go along the whole process, you're not quite sure what you're looking for. You're just looking for someone that can come in and do the work. I want you to be a little bit more detailed on the work that you want the person to do. I hope this is very clear. If you're looking for a barber and there's several children that come into your salon, so this barber must be able to work on children. This cosmetologist must be aware of or know how or have some certification, maybe in hair extensions. I want you to write that down. If you know in your area there is several people that is asking for hair loss services, put down the position available. A hair loss specialist. Position requirement must be knowledgeable about scalp treatment, scalp information, about healing the scalp. Write down the position and write down the requirements. These requirements is what your guest is looking for. So when you bring someone in, you must know that the people that you've been coming in contact with can get service. So this is the pre-work that you must do before we jump into the interview process. So go ahead on and make this list, write down all your positions available, write down the requirements for each position. Now, this does include the accountant that we're looking for, maybe a financial advisor. So if you're a stylist and like, well, the only position I have is a shampoo assistant, I get it, but you need others on your team. You might need a financial advisor. You might need a tax expert. So I want you to write down those things as well. Positions of requirement are probably the things that you cannot handle. Maybe the position requirement and the position available is not adding up, but you have some understanding on when you go out there and look for an accountant, what you want them to do. So go ahead on, even as a stylist, make this list. Write these things down. Take a load off of you so that we can jump into this hiring process. So here's my 3-step process. This is the exact 3-step process that I share with all of my private clients. The first step of this process is the application process. The application is either a paper form that they will come in and fill out, or it's an online form. If you remember from the beginning, from the Google course where we talked about Google Forms, that you can have your online application in there as well. So your application is either going to be a paper form or an online digital form. That is the first step to bringing someone aboard. Now, during this application process, we are not interviewing. We are not asking any questions. We simply want to get to know who we will be talking about to in the future. The next stage after this interview process, right? You're going to look over this application. Just as I do for everyone that book a rapid growth call with me, you can head to my website at ElishaMonique.com and schedule your rapid growth call. It is absolutely free. Once you schedule your rapid growth call, I ask you a couple questions so I can get to know you. You know me, and I need to get to know you. And in that get to know process, I'll ask you for your website, your social media, and I'll go look around. I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to know where you're from. So that way I have a little bit of knowledge on what to expect on a phone as opposed to going in blindly. You would do the same thing for your application process. You will ask a couple of the references, check the school that they went to, and of course, check their license and make sure that it's active. Once you've done that research, you will then call them and you will set up an interview. This interview will be a time that's convenient for both of you, of course. But during this interview time, you're going to have a conversation. What I like to share with all of my private clients is that this interview is not based on anything that is written on the application. Because for one, you can read. And two, you got to get to know this person and make sure that they are not crazy. You can't work with anyone crazy. If you two can't vibe together and have a basic conversation, what makes you think you can work side by side? Or if you two can't vibe together or can vibe together and you like, I'm not quite sure, they might not blend well with the other stylists that I already have. That's what this interview process is for. So just a quick example of 2-3 questions you can ask during this interview process. Question number 1. How do you keep up with the latest trends? Go ahead and jot that down. How do you keep up with the latest trends? Question number 2. What is something creative that you like to do in your spare time? What is something creative that you enjoy doing in your spare time? Question number 3. How would you handle an irate or upset client? How would you handle an irate or upset client? This is conversation. What would you do if someone is coming here and is crazy? What would you say? How would you react? So these questions is basically giving you an understanding of who they are, what they're about. You can even ask things such as, what type of music do you enjoy listening to? What's your favorite educator in the beauty industry? Do you have any other special skills that you did not list on this application that you are, looking forward to doing in the future maybe? So this is an interview. This is a conversation. If we can't have a great conversation, if we can't vibe together, then guess what? Step number 3 will never happen. If you don't get great feedback from this interview, then you will not go on to step number 3, which is the final interview. If this interview is actually great, we're vibing together, they have wonderful personality, they will fit very well with the rest of the team, you enjoy them, then from there you will call them back and let them know that you have made a decision to bring them aboard the team and you want to welcome them to your salon. During this final interview is where you're going to set the expectations and set the rules. Remember in the beginning when we talked about having the rules and expectations in the contract? That is what's going to occur during the final interview. Letting them know specifically how your salon operates, how things are done, like get really in detail. What I recommend every client of mine do is that in this first interview, everyone goes on a 30-day probation. 30-day probation start. Because during the next 30 days, they're actually going to work in your business. You want to see how they work. You want to see the ethics of them working. You want to see how professional they are working. And after this 30 days, we're going to sit down and have an evaluation. See if they are actually comfortable with working in your salon. If they are not comfortable with working in your salon, you're not comfortable with working with them at the end of 30 days, we all part ways and we wish them the best. If they are comfortable with working with you at the end of 30 days, we move on to our next step, which is signing the contract. So this 30-day period, we're trying to feel each other out. We're trying to see what's going on. We're trying to see if we can really connect. Now, during this 30 days, they are getting paid the commission and they are paying their booth rent. But at the end of 30 days, if we can't belong here together, then we part our ways. But at that moment is when the contract begins. So this is a 3-step hiring process. So once again, this is why we don't hire anyone off the street, because we know what positions we have available. We know who we are looking for. We know the qualifications. During this time, we're talking to people. If people are not sounding professional or not sounding crazy, here's what you're going to do also. After this interview, they are cuckoo puffs and you like, that is not going to work. What you would simply do is give them a call back after the interview and let them know that you have decided to go with another stylist instead, and that you will keep their information on file for future reference. And simply just never call them back. I mean, think about it. If you couldn't connect in an interview, what makes you think you can actually work here? But you want to let people down nicely. I mean, the corporations do it all the time. Your business is going to run exactly how a corporation does. Where can you go in to any corporation? What store? You tell me. And actually just walk in, fill out an application, have an interview on the spot, second interview on the spot, and then go to work. If they're not doing an open house. What business? Exactly. There are no businesses like that. There are none that you can walk in, fill out an application, have an interview, and start working tomorrow. So I want you to run your business during this 3-step process, just like a corporation. So once we have the people, right, our next step is to be able to retain them. We got to dive into employee retention. So how do you do that? Well, we're going to start off by having a training manual. Yes, absolutely. Your commission stylists, your new stylists, your junior stylists, they need to be trained a little bit. Any stylist that we're going to bring aboard needs to be trained just a little bit on how you operate. Maybe they need to be trained on sanitation, having a thorough consultation, being able to provide an excellent customer service, understanding the products that's used in your salon. Maybe we got to dive into a little technical skills and show them how to do a cutting or maybe an installation. This is all a part of your training manual. Another part of employee retention is salon meetings. We all have to be on the same page. Yes, it's a must. You cannot run your business if everyone is on a different page. It's not going to work out well at all, honestly. And finally, we need an SOP, which stands for Standard Operating Procedures. Now, this is a binder that you will keep at your desk that has quite a bit of information in it. For one, it can have a copy of that contract that you gave them that they signed. It's a blank copy, but it's something that they can always look at. It will contain your dress code, maybe a copy of a client consultation, a color consultation, a chemical release form, wig unit consultation. This SOP contains a number of things. So you want to start collecting information, writing it down, creating an SOP and keeping it at the desk. It even contains information on how to work your online scheduling system. If they have to troubleshoot something, how do you actually cash out a guest? What are the procedures to go through that? How do we conduct retail inventory? Maybe your receptionist is not quite sure how we do retail inventory. Well, in your SOP, we have a sheet that says how do we conduct retail inventory. There's also a couple sheets in there that give us a little bit of basic knowledge about each product line that you carry. So your SOP is like the Bible of the salon, where it's very resourceful. If you are not there, any person on your team can resort to this manual and find all the information that they need. Those are 3 main pieces that you must have. After that, your attention slides into product classes, salon activities, and trade shows. Now, product classes is actually bringing in a distributor that's going to teach about a specific product, or bringing in an educator that's going to teach about something specific. Could be hair extensions, could be a color line, could be a product line. Those are product classes. Salon activities. Well, let me leave that for a little bit. Let's talk about trade shows. So trade shows, we all know that there's different trade shows happening around the world where we can take our team to and we can split up and get education in different areas. And what I like to do is when everyone splits up and learns something different, so we can actually maximize on the trade show and not all be in one class at the same time. If you have 3-4 technical classes, right, that you want to take, and they all happening at the same time, but you have 4 stylists. Perfect opportunity is to have all 4 stylists go to a different class. And when you come back, this is where the salon activities come into play. You have each stylist teach a class that they learned. This is showcasing every stylist skill. Everyone took a different class. So when we come back, we're going to set up different salon activities, different salon meetings, or different salon educations where we're going to teach each other what we learned in that class. Remember, retention, team building, let them shine. There's 4 classes. We all cannot take all this information together. So spread it around. So attend trade shows where everybody can get further education that they need and then come back and perform salon activities so that we can showcase what we just learned from these different shows. Another part of the retention is incentives and bonuses. So the incentive, what are the incentives of maybe you're looking for another stylist? Maybe they know somebody. What is the incentives if I bring aboard another stylist? What are the incentives if I have the highest amount of new clients for this month from me bringing them in personally? Is there like some extra, maybe some extra a product basket that I get, some gift cards that you give out? Maybe even the salon activities include different themes. We decorate mannequins, we design things, we create stuff. We have our clients vote on it. And during this voting process, we might win like gas gift cards or gift cards to Victoria's Secret. These are incentives to be great. We want to give our stylists the incentives to be great, to keep them around, to keep them growing with us. And then other added bonuses. You can look into adding healthcare benefits, dental benefits, life insurance benefits. There are other added bonuses with stylists that may reach a certain income bracket when it comes to commission scale, that they get their own personal assistant because they've maintained this certain income bracket for an extended period of time. So, hey, because she's bringing in so much money, let's get her own assistant. Nobody can touch her. These are bonuses. So I want you to look over this list. These are many, many ways to keep your employees happy and growing in your environment. It's going to start with the first list. So a training manual is something you must have, even as a booth renter. And I know you're probably saying, okay, well, I run a booth rental salon. Do I really need to train them? Well, you got to let them know how you operate. So yes, you do need to train them. And their training could just be something basic like, hey, this is the customer experience we provide. We have this refreshment area right here. From there, we lead our guests back to the shampoo area. In the shampoo area, we have chairs that we kick up at. And we like to do this sort of type of consultation here where we spin a chair around 4 times and we talk to people upside down in the mirror. I mean, I'm making up stuff here, but you understand you can still do this as a booth rental salon. Definitely, you can do this as a stylist. If you have an assistant, you have to train them. You have to tell them how you operate, how things lay out, how things are supposed to be. If you're hiring a receptionist, you have to let the reception know this is how things operate. That's all a part of the training manual. Salon meetings. Yes, salon meetings are great for booth rental stylists as well, because if you decide to go a different direction with the salon business, then they are a part of that direction as well. They're holding that space. Having this salon meeting, let's say during certain seasons of the month, you want to hold certain things or certain discounts or have certain type of events, then your booth rental stylist should be aware of those events as well through your salon meetings. And your SOP keeps everyone on the same page. Everyone on the same page. A SOP is definitely needed for a booth rental. Let's say they're trying to set the alarm and the alarm does something weird. They can always refer to the SOP and see how to fix the alarm without calling you. So the first column is an absolute must. Everything else is all a part of retaining your employees and renters. You can actually get together all your renters and everyone can pitch in and go to trade shows. You can find a product class that everyone is talking about that they need, and everyone pitch in and pay for this product class, and you bring this educator to your salon, and all your renters still benefit from product classes. So having your employees there, having your team stay around, because these are the added benefits. This is what makes your salon special. Because you've gained these wonderful people, these wonderful professionals. Now you want to keep these wonderful professionals around so that you can start to remove yourself from working so much from behind the chair and depend on your team, because you're supporting them and they are supporting you. So these are the 3 key functions of building your team. You must start with your structure, followed by your hiring process. And of course, add on that employee retention. You cannot omit any of these functions. They all are needed. So go ahead on, take a pause if you have to, and perfect how you're going to build your team. Go back, rewind this, look over your notes, put everything in place, actually get some of these things implemented, cross this stuff off your list, and start building the perfect team. All my clients have done this. I know it worked. I've seen them go from being in salons by themselves to having a team of professionals, whether fully staffed or halfway staffed, and just on a right road to success. You cannot do this alone. You have to have a team of professionals. And if there's any part that's missing from their team, whether it be an accountant or a tax expert, I usually share my resources with my clients as well. So you need a team though, but it all starts with you creating that solid structure, knowing how you operate so that you can continue on and be able to market your business and build your brand and be able to expand and scale your business. I want to thank you so much for just taking this class. I truly, truly appreciate you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me at ElishaMonique.com. Any questions you have, go ahead on over and visit my website, gather all of those resources, and continue on to be great.